race fans, welcome to my little show about racing. I like to call In the Pits with me, StockCar Scott, each Wednesday here on the YouTube during racing season when I feel like it. Well, the weekend went pretty much as I figured it would at Pocono with ARCA and NASCAR. The rain washed out a bunch of practices on Friday, but the Sprint Cup Series still got in qualifying, and ARCA still got in their race. The pole sitter for the ARCA race was Austin Cedric, and he ran a good race, but finished second in his number 99 satellite team Penske Ford Fusion. And he was second to past ARCA champion Grant Enfinger in the Southern States Bank number 23 Chevrolet SS in a one-off ride there for Grant. And I think I have mentioned before that Enfinger is a favorite Alabama driver of mine, so I was happy to see him win. The next ARCA event is this Friday at Michigan, again in conjunction with NASCAR's Xfinity Series on this coming Saturday and Sprint Cup on Sunday. And I do believe it all is on Fox Sports 1, along with the Camping World Trucks on Friday night at Texas. But you might want to, as they say, check your local listings. You also might want to check your local listings for the Formula One Grand Prix of Canada on Sunday. I think it will be on regular NBC, like Channel 5 here locally, but that's going to be opposite of the Sprint Cup race in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Of course, I will be watching the Cup race live and the F1 Grand Prix later in the day. After all, I am StockCar Scott, and stock cars were what first interested me in the motorsports. Also, this Saturday evening is an Indy race. The Indy Racing League has an event at Texas Motor Speedway, and as I have said before, those Indy cars just go like scary fast at Texas. But Saturday night, I will hopefully be watching live super late model racing out at Evergreen Speedway, along with the street stocks, mini stocks, Hornets, and a couple of figure 8 races during their Racers Reunion Night. And they'll have that there at the Snohomish County Fairgrounds. Maybe I'll see you out there. There will also be limited late models, wing sprint cars, legends, bumblebees, and hobby stocks this weekend at South Sound Speedway. I saw that Ron Schultz won the big 100-lap super late model feature at South Sound this past Saturday night while I was at Hermiston. Also saw that they had some really anemic car counts this weekend. Sometimes it works out that way, folks. Before we left to go to Hermiston for the the Twisted Tea Better All Auto Sales West Coast Late Model Series Monster Energy 100, I had time to watch most of, which turned out to be all of the Xfinity debut race at the tricky, rainy Pocono Triangle. Old phenom Eric Jones was on the pole for that race, surrounded by his teammates Daniel Suarez and the Toad. But Kyle Larson, starting in 4th, was ahead when the rain came at lap 53 of 100. That was when we headed on east to see live racing 4 hours away. It went on to become Larson's first Xfinity win of the year. And the next Xfinity race, as I said, is Saturday in the Irish Hills of Michigan. And Daniel Suarez leads the Xfinity points. After the rainout of the Xfinity Pocono race, my wife and I headed northeastern to northeastern Oregon to see the Twisted Tea Better All Auto Sales West Coast Late Model Series Monster Energy 100 at the Hermiston Super Oval. It was a hot night of racing and hot temperatures in the Oregon desert country. We arrived in time for qualifying with the majority of driver car combos lapping in under 16 seconds and within a couple of tenths of each other. It was a really close field. Derek Ball of Kennewick was fastest with a 15.7 something. I think the next closest was a 15.8 something. So the invert put series regular and a favorite of mine, Todd Connell, at P1. And alongside on the front row was 15-year-old rookie driver, our phenom there, Brooke Schimmel. No one accepted the $250 Evan Williams Run to the Front challenge to try to win after dropping to the back. So that Run to the Front award will increase until someone accepts the challenge and wins from the back. After 2 trophy dashes and the local Hornet and Bomber divisions dashes in heat races, and their mains, of course, the 100-lap West Coast late model feature got underway as the sun set and the track cooled. Unfortunately, the first lap was not completed before the first caution came out, and my favorite, defending West Coast Late Model Series champion Buck Knoll Jr. was out of the race with a damaged rear end before the event really got started, proving, unfortunately, the old adage that you can't win the race on the first lap, but you can lose the race on the first lap, especially when you have help. When the race got going, Brooke Schimmel was able to lead for a few laps there, but Jim Franklin took his really strong 2C car to the lead, and he led a bunch of laps there in the middle of the race until a right rear tire puncture dropped him from being competitive. Jim's bad luck led to a short battle for the lead between Andy Beeman and Schimmel that had Beeman in front from there until the last restart. And I hope by now you have seen the video from the last restart to the checkers. It was some of the best racing I have seen so far this season, with Doug Poirier coming back from almost a lap down with a beat-up Monte Carlo to win on a last lap pass. Makes you think someone out there wrote some movie script or something. Later in the pits, I almost tripped over Doug's huge smile a time or two there. Of course, not everyone was as happy as Mr. Poirier because their beat-up cars hadn't been able to finish. I just hope these drivers don't lose heart because of a hot, exhausting night in the Oregon desert. I hope to see all of them back in 2 weeks at Yakima for the next event. The guy that got passed on the last lap was Andy Beeman, who ran really well all night before Poirier got past him. And in third was young Brooke Schimmel in her best finish this season. But she wasn't the Mid-Columbia Dermatology Clinic race rookie this time. Not this time, though, because the driver of the evening, Doug Poirier, is also part of the large 2016 West Coast Late Model rookie class. after the Monster Energy 100, driver of the number 86 Kyler Condiff leads the overall points, with the next race, as I'm sure that I've said, on the 18th of June back at Yakima for 100 laps. Woo! It was a good race, folks. I'm looking forward to going back there on July 23rd, I do believe, is when the next West Coast late model race is there. Okay, Sunday. If there had been a Sprint Cup race on Sunday at Pocono, I would have missed it. I spent that day taking the scenic route with my wonderful wife back from Hermiston. But rain won the day at Pocono, so I was able to see the entire Pocono 400 live on Monday morning. It was a pretty good race, and I ain't just saying that because Dale Jr. finished second, and the Toad got run into the wall by No Neck Newman, who also had another extended run-in with the Joker, Logano, that led to some bumper repair on the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. Boy, howdy, that Newman boy is surely trying to get on my good side. The race moved along quickly, as a lot of Monday races often do, and the Toad's brother, Kurt Busch, was able to stretch his fuel in the final laps to bring home another Pocono victory that qualifies him for the post-race chase. Oh, and speaking of chase, the driver of the number 24 Napa Chevrolet was the best finishing rookie driver again this week in fourth place. My other brother's favorite driver, Kevin Harvick, had to be happy with another top 10. And my wife's Biffle struggled back in 26th, while Enumclaw's Casey Kane had a 6th place finish. Harvick still leads the points, and that's with them going into the next event this Sunday at Michigan. Of course, Michigan has been a good place over the years for Dale Jr. To get a win when he really needs one. Like his first win for Hendricks was at Michigan, and his first win after a very long dry spell in the Batman car here was at Michigan. So he really needs to get a win, needs to get one soon so he can get into the chase. Well, race fans, that's probably enough for tonight. Even though June is a busy month for racing, I'm out of stuff to talk about this week. So I hope to see you out at the track this weekend. I would like that track to be evergreen, so I can see Andy Soule and Molly Helmet and Tyler Tanner and Mike Holden and the rest of the Speedway Chevrolet super late model drivers. But the weather actually looks better for limited lates at South Sound, along with Legends, Hobby Stock, Winged Sprint Cars, and Bumblebees. Plus, they have those tasty, tasty chili cheese fries I have often spoken about. And it looks kind of like it's going to be a hot chocolate night on Saturday. But whatever the weekend holds for you, please watch some racing. There will be ARCA, Camping World Trucks, Xfinity Series, Indy Racing League, Formula One, and Sprint Cup on television, plus a few tracks on Fans Choice TV. They're on the Devil Box, as well as local races if weather allows. So you have been warned and informed. You have no excuses. Go see racing. And then I will be back here to talk to you about racing next Wednesday evening. Same Stock Car time, same Stock Car channel here on my little show about racing I like to call In the Pits with me, Stock Car Scott, and also Daphne this week. Many thanks from us for watching. Race fans, really appreciate every watch. I will see you hopefully at the track. And I'll be back here in the pits next week, when I feel like it. Oh, and one other thing I want to put in a quick plug for. Second time around, put the card out so I'd remember them. This is a little thrift shop, antique shop in Hermiston, and they were open on Sunday, and they were a great little shop, and I did a little business with them. Got me some 1/64th cars that there were a couple of them over 20 years old, and then I also got a 1/64th of old Mark Martin car that was good 16, 17, probably older than Brooke Schimmel. So it was a nice little place to go, and I'll have to go back to second time around thrift and antiques when I'm back at Hermiston on July 23rd. But until then, folks, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you putting up with me again this week. Daphne and I say good evening. Have a nice evening.